Changing your life doesn't have to be complicated or take years. In fact, just 6 months is enough time to make real, lasting improvements. Imagine waking up each day with more energy, clearer focus, and a sense of purpose guiding every step you take. It's possible when you decide to commit fully and take control of the small choices that build your future. This journey is about more than quick fixes or sudden bursts of motivation. It's about creating steady habits, making wise decisions, and developing a mindset that pushes you forward even when things get tough. Over the next few chapters, you'll discover practical steps you can start applying right now, steps that help you build discipline, sharpen your focus, and stay consistent when doubt tries to hold you back. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the right feeling. The power to change is already inside you, ready to grow with daily action. This isn't about doing everything at once. It's about small, meaningful moves that add up over time, reshaping how you live, work, and think. By giving yourself 6 months to commit to these changes, you open the door to new possibilities. You'll learn how to take back your power, manage your time, strengthen your body and mind, and surround yourself with people who lift you higher. This time is yours to build a foundation that supports lasting success and personal growth. Stick with this process, and you'll find that change doesn't just happen, it becomes your new normal. The habits you build, the mindset you develop, and the discipline you practice will carry you through challenges and bring you closer to the life you want. So if you're ready to take that first step, stay with this guide. Each chapter offers clear, simple advice designed to help you improve a little every day. 6 months from now, you'll look back and see how far you've come, not because of luck or sudden inspiration, but because you chose to keep going, one step at a time. Chapter 1. Own your choices and take back your power. You don't need a perfect past or the right circumstances to change your life. You only need one thing to begin: the willingness to take full responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. Most people wait for the outside world to shift before they start improving themselves. They blame their upbringing, their relationships, their boss, or the world. But nothing changes when your attention is outside yourself. All true power starts with owning your choices. If you want to change everything in 6 months, you must stop giving away control of your life to excuses, to people, and to things you cannot influence. You must begin with yourself. That is the first step and the most important one. No one owes you a better life. No one is coming to save you. This might sound harsh, but it's actually one of the most freeing truths you can embrace. When you accept this truth fully, you stop waiting and start doing. You stop blaming and start building. You stop drifting and start living with clarity. That shift mentally and emotionally is what separates those who repeat the same life year after year from those who rise above their history and create something new. Owning your choices means becoming brutally honest with yourself. Not in a way that makes you feel shame, but in a way that wakes you up. Every habit you have, every relationship you're in, every routine you follow or ignore is either building your future or breaking it down. You either created it through action or allowed it through inaction, and when you understand that, you stop living as a victim of your own life. You begin to build intentionally, one choice at a time. You have to look at your life and ask hard questions. What am I allowing that is holding me back? What am I doing every day that is not aligned with who I want to become? Where am I settling? These are not comfortable questions, but they are the questions that create real change. If you want transformation, you need awareness. You can't fix what you're not willing to see. Maybe you feel stuck right now. Maybe you've tried before and failed. Maybe you've spent years living in patterns you know are destructive. That doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose now. Every person who ever turned their life around started in a moment like this, with no guarantee of success, only a deep hunger to stop wasting their time. They made a decision to take full responsibility for themselves. Even when it was hard, even when it felt unfair, they stopped waiting for perfect conditions and started where they were. Taking back your power doesn't mean you control everything. It means you control your responses, your thoughts, your actions. It means you stop outsourcing your happiness, your discipline, and your peace to people who can never give it to you. It means you stop giving your energy to complaining and start using that energy to rebuild your life. Every time you catch yourself blaming something or someone, pull it back. Ask, what can I do about this? And if the answer is nothing, let it go. Focus on what's within your control. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do have to decide that your life is your responsibility from this point forward. That decision alone will shift your perspective. It will help you stop chasing shortcuts and start committing to the process. Power doesn't come from control, it comes from commitment. And when you commit to showing up fully, even when you feel tired or unmotivated, you begin to trust yourself again. There are people who seem to move through life with clarity and purpose. They are not lucky, they are not special, they just made a decision not to be controlled by fear or by other people's expectations. They stopped apologizing for wanting more. They stopped lowering their standards to keep others comfortable. They started living in alignment with their values. You can do the same, but it begins with accepting that your life is entirely up to you. If you want peace, you must choose habits that support it. If you want success, you must choose actions that build it. If you want confidence, you must earn it through discipline. No one gives you these things. You give them to yourself through consistent daily effort. Every decision you make either gives you power or takes it away. Skipping a workout takes it away. Ignoring your goals 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 takes it away. Depression 1 Live. Saying yes when you mean no takes it away. You lose yourself one small compromise at a time, but you can rebuild yourself the same way, one small decision at a time. Most people don't need more motivation, they need more responsibility. They need to stop escaping into distractions and start facing their life with honesty. That's where growth begins. When you stop numbing yourself and start listening to your own truth. When you stop blaming the past and start creating the future. The moment you start being accountable for your life, you start to see the path clearly. Not all at once, but one step at a time. Start today by taking inventory of your life. Look at your habits. Look at how you speak to yourself. Look at how you spend your time. Be honest about what is helping and what is harming. Don't lie to yourself anymore. It's not weakness to admit your flaws. It's strength. You cannot change what you pretend is not a problem. If something in your life feels out of alignment, it's your responsibility to address it. It doesn't matter who caused it. It's on you to heal it, fix it, change it, or walk away from it. When you take this kind of ownership, you start to feel stronger, not because life gets easier, but because you stop waiting for it to. You meet life where it is and rise to the challenge. You stop thinking about how hard things are and start thinking about how capable you are. That mental shift is where your power lives. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a clear decision and a consistent effort. Every day gives you a chance to reclaim more of yourself. Every day you wake up with a choice. You can react or you can lead. You can complain or you can build. You can stay stuck or you can move forward. No one can make that choice for you, and no one can stop you once you truly decide. This is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming responsible. You will still fail. You will still fall short. But when you own your choices, failure becomes part of the process, not the end of it. You stop quitting when it gets uncomfortable. You stop looking for someone to rescue you. You start learning, adjusting, growing, and rising. There is nothing more powerful than a person who takes full responsibility for their life. That person cannot be manipulated. That person cannot be broken by failure. That person cannot be controlled by fear, because they know who they are, they know where they stand, and they know that every day is a chance to create something stronger. This chapter is the beginning of everything. It's the foundation that supports all the other changes you will make. If you skip this part, nothing will last. Any progress you make will collapse the moment things get hard. But if you build this into your thinking, if you decide that your life is your responsibility no matter what, then you become unstoppable. You don't need to wait for anything. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to believe in you. The only permission you need is your own. And the only belief that matters is the belief you build through action. Start with small wins. Do the hard things. Keep your promises to yourself. That's how belief grows. That's how confidence is built. That's how you take your power back. You will face moments of doubt. That's normal. What matters is what you do in those moments. Do you give up or keep going? Do you retreat or step forward? Your power is built in those small moments when no one is watching. When it would be easy to quit but you don't. When it would be easy to blame but you take responsibility instead. Those are the moments that shape you. You're not here to stay the same. You're here to evolve. And that evolution begins now with one decision, one day, one honest look in the mirror. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are capable of rebuilding everything if you're willing to start with yourself. Make the decision today. No more excuses. No more blame. No more waiting for something outside you to change. This is your life. These are your choices. And this is your chance. 6 months from now, your life can be completely different, not because of luck, not because someone handed you a new life, but because you chose to rise, you chose to grow, you chose to own every part of your journey. Everything changes the moment you do. So start now, start with yourself, and never give your power away again. Chapter 2. Wake up early and start winning your morning. Most people waste the first part of their day without even realizing it. They wake up just in time to rush, to react, to catch up. Their minds are already busy before their feet hit the floor. They start the day behind, and that feeling follows them into everything they do. If you want to change your life, you need to take control of your mornings. Not in a complicated or dramatic way, but in a simple, intentional, powerful way that sets the tone for who you are becoming. The way you begin your day tells the world what kind of person you are. But more importantly, it tells you what kind of person you are. If you begin your day with discipline, with presence, with quiet focus, you carry that energy into your choices. You stop living in reaction and start living in alignment. Waking up early is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about creating space between who you've been and who you want to become. When you get up early, before the world pulls at your attention, you are able to listen to yourself. You are able to hear the thoughts that are usually drowned out by noise. You are able to connect to your goals with clarity instead of rushing through your morning in survival mode. You're no longer pushed by pressure. You are led by purpose. This shift will change your energy, your mindset, your behavior, and your results. You don't need to wake up at 4 in the morning or follow someone else's routine. You only need to wake up earlier than your habits would prefer. You need to rise with a plan, not just for what to do, but for who you are committed to being. Even 30 minutes of deliberate time before the world begins to demand your attention can change your entire direction. What matters is not the hour on the clock, but the intention in your mind. Most people think they need more hours in the day. What they really need is to stop wasting the first ones. The morning is when your brain is most clear, most fresh, and most able to make powerful choices. If you wait until the day pulls you in every direction, you will lose that clarity. You will act out of urgency instead of direction. You will respond to life instead of leading it. When you wake up early and use that time with purpose, you give yourself the advantage of stillness. You give yourself a head start before the rest of the world even begins. You can use this time to move your body, to review your goals, to sit in silence, to write your thoughts, or to prepare your mind. These things may seem small, but they are powerful because they remind you that you decide how your day will go, not your schedule, not your phone, not your problems, you. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters before everything else takes your attention. If you wake up early and waste that time scrolling through distractions, you've lost the point. This time is sacred because it belongs to you. No one is asking for anything yet. No one is interrupting your thoughts. This is the time when your future is shaped, not by what you hope for, but by what you do when no one is watching. The discipline to wake up early builds something deeper than productivity. It builds trust in yourself. Every time you get up when you said you would, you reinforce a message. I keep my promises. I lead my life. I am not controlled by comfort. I act from choice. And over time, that message shapes how you see yourself. You no longer need motivation. You've built identity. That identity becomes the reason you show up. Not because you feel like it, but because it's who you are now. You don't need to be perfect. Some mornings will be harder than others. Some mornings you'll feel resistance. That's normal. What matters is what you do with that resistance. Do you give in to it, or do you rise above it? The more you choose to rise, the easier it becomes, not because the mornings get easier, but because you get stronger. Your mind becomes more focused, your priorities become more clear, your days begin to follow your direction, your life is built one morning at a time. That's where the foundation is laid, not in the big moments, but in the quiet hours when no one sees the work you're doing, when no one applauds it, when no one is there to hold you accountable but you. If you win those hours, you begin to win your days. And when you win enough days in a row, your entire life begins to shift. The most important thing is to stay consistent. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose one or two meaningful actions to start your morning. Maybe you drink water and go for a walk. Maybe you write in a journal and stretch your body. Maybe you sit in silence and breathe. Start small, but start with purpose. Keep showing up. Keep protecting that time. That consistency becomes momentum, and that momentum will carry you forward when motivation is low. You're not just changing your routine, you're changing your identity. You're deciding that your life matters enough to start each day with intention. You're deciding that you will no longer sleep through your own potential. You're deciding that excuses will not run your life. That decision must be made again each morning, not once, every day, and each time you follow through, you strengthen that decision. You'll notice that everything starts to feel different. You're calmer during the day, you're more focused, you're less reactive, you make better choices, not because life gets easier, but because you get better. The early hours give you a moment to slow down and listen. They give you a space to ground yourself before the noise begins. In that stillness, your direction becomes stronger. You don't have to search for it all day. It's already set. This is how you build self-respect. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop sleeping through opportunity. You rise. You take the time that most people waste and turn it into something meaningful. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be honest. You wake up, you move, you think, you breathe. You start your day as a leader, not as a follower of circumstance. You do this because you know that your future depends on what you do now, not what you say you'll do, not what you hope will happen, but what you do in the first hour of the day when your mind is fresh and your choices are clean. That is the time where real transformation begins. If you wait until you're overwhelmed, you've already lost your edge. But if you rise early and begin with discipline, the rest of the day begins to respond to you. This is not about being a morning person. It's about being the kind of person who doesn't leave their life up to chance. The kind of person who shows up with focus and lives with intention. The kind of person who does what's right, even when it's not easy. You don't have to love mornings. You have to love your future enough to start building it before the world wakes up. So set your alarm. Get up on time, stand up and begin your day before anything else has the chance to shape it for you. And know that every early morning is a step toward the person you are becoming, a step that no one else can take for you, a step that sets the tone for everything that follows. This is where your new life begins, not someday, today, before the sun rises, before the noise starts, before the world demands your attention. You begin, you lead, you rise. Chapter 3. Eliminate time wasters and focus on real goals. Every day, you are given a limited amount of time. The problem is, most people treat time like it's endless. They act like there's always more of it tomorrow, next week, next year. But time doesn't pause. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves forward whether you use it or not. That's why if you're serious about changing your life, you must get serious about how you spend your hours. You can't afford to waste time on things that give you nothing back. You have to be honest about what drains your focus, steals your energy, and pulls you away from what really matters. Time wasters don't always look harmful. They often feel harmless, even relaxing. But the truth is, they are silent thieves. They steal your attention in small chunks until entire days are gone and you're left wondering where your time went. Endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, checking notifications out of habit, watching things that offer no value, constantly switching tasks, doing things out of guilt or obligation. These are the quiet killers of growth. They keep you busy but not productive. They make you feel like you're doing something, but you're moving nowhere. If you want to take control of your life, you need to take control of your attention. Your time goes where your focus goes. The problem is not that you don't have time. The problem is that too much of it goes to things that don't align with your real goals. Until you start saying no to the things that don't matter, you'll never have the space to say yes to what does. And this is where discipline begins. Not in big dramatic moments, but in small decisions you make every day. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. You need to stop letting your phone decide what you think about. You need to stop giving your energy to people who only drain it. You need to stop doing things that feel comfortable but leave you empty. That means putting your attention where it matters. That means creating a clear line between what moves you forward and what keeps you stuck. And that line is built by being honest with yourself. Ask yourself what your real goals are, not what sounds impressive, not what other people expect from you. What do you truly want to build? Who do you want to become? What matters to you enough that you're willing to sacrifice for it? When your goals are clear, your distractions become obvious. You no longer entertain every option. You no longer let your schedule fill up with meaningless tasks. You begin to filter everything through a simple question. Does this take me closer to the life I want, or further away? It's not easy to eliminate time wasters because many of them have become habits. They give a quick reward, a burst of dopamine, a moment of escape, but they leave you feeling hollow. They don't build anything, they don't lead to progress, and they rob you of the one thing you can never get back, your time. You need to become the kind of person who values time as much as successful people do. Because the truth is, the people who grow the fastest aren't the ones with the most resources. They're the ones who manage their time with precision. You need to track how you spend your day, not from judgment, but from awareness. Every hour should be accounted for, not so you can be perfect, but so you can be in control. Write down how you spend your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings. Notice how much time slips away doing things that don't add value to your life. Notice how often you check your phone without thinking. Notice how much time goes to tasks that should have been finished in half the time. The more honest you are, the more power you gain. Once you see where your time is going, you can begin to reclaim it. Start by eliminating the things that give you nothing back. Remove distractions from your environment. Turn off notifications that don't matter. Create time blocks where your phone is in another room. Let go of relationships that exist only out of guilt or comfort. Say no more often. Protect your focus like it's the most valuable thing you have, because it is. You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters with more focus. Focus is a muscle, and most people have let it go weak. They jump from one thing to another. They interrupt themselves before they can finish anything. But deep work, real progress, comes from extended, focused effort. When you eliminate distractions and give your full attention to one thing at a time, you get better results in less time. You learn faster. You create more. You feel more accomplished. That feeling creates momentum, and momentum creates change. You need to know the difference between being busy and being effective. Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean you're moving forward. Just because you're tired at the end of the day doesn't mean it was a day well spent. A full schedule can still be a wasted day if your actions weren't aligned with your goals. Real growth comes when you stop measuring your days by how much you did and start measuring them by how much progress you made. The goal is not to work non-stop. The goal is to stop wasting energy on things that don't matter, so you can work with intensity on the things that do. That means giving yourself space to think. That means learning how to rest without guilt. That means building routines that reduce decision fatigue. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing fewer things with more focus, more heart, and more excellence. One of the most powerful decisions you can make is to design your day around your priorities. Don't just react to whatever shows up. Plan your day with intention. Know when you'll work, when you'll rest, when you'll review your progress. Create systems that protect your focus. Build habits that reduce friction. Organize your environment to make distractions harder to access. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are the one who decides how your time is spent. This requires discipline. You will have to say no when it's easier to say yes. You will have to resist the temptation to waste time just because you're tired or bored. You will have to remind yourself of your goals when comfort tries to pull you off track. But with each day that you choose focus over distraction, you gain something more valuable than comfort. You gain confidence. You begin to see that you are capable of leading your life. That belief will carry you through challenges. That belief will build your future. There will always be distractions. There will always be easier paths, but there will never be a shortcut to a meaningful life. You have to do the work. You have to protect your time. You have to choose your goals over temporary pleasures. That's how you build a life you're proud of. That's how you create change that lasts. Eliminating time wasters is not about being harsh, it's about being clear. It's about recognizing that your time is your most valuable asset and every moment matters. You are building something bigger than just a productive day. You are building a life that reflects your values, your standards, and your goals. That begins with how you spend your time. So cut out what doesn't matter. Focus on what moves you forward. Align your actions with your vision, and know that with each day you lead with clarity, you are becoming the person who no longer chases results because they've built the habits that create them. Chapter 4. Train your body daily to sharpen your mind. Your body is the most important tool you have, and how you treat it shapes how clearly you think, how deeply you focus, and how well you handle life. Most people underestimate the connection between physical strength and mental strength. They think working out is just about looking better or staying healthy, but it's much more than that. Training your body is one of the fastest ways to train your mind. The discipline you build in your physical routine bleeds into every part of your life. It sharpens how you think, how you make decisions, and how you deal with pressure. When you take care of your body, you give your mind the environment it needs to operate at its best. You don't need to train like an athlete, but you do need to move with purpose every single day. When your body is stagnant, your energy drops. Your motivation disappears. You feel tired even if you haven't done much. But when you move, when you push yourself physically, something powerful happens. You wake up, your mind clears, your mood lifts, you begin to feel strong again, not just in your muscles but in your attitude. You feel capable. That feeling affects how you speak, how you show up to work, how you handle conflict, how you set goals. Every part of you improves when you move your body. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start. Even a few minutes of focused physical effort each day builds momentum, whether it's a walk, stretching, lifting weights, running, or doing bodyweight exercises at home. What matters is the consistency. When you train your body daily, you build a new identity. You become the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person who shows up even when it's hard. That kind of self-respect changes how you think. It builds pride. It makes you stop looking for easy routes. You start trusting yourself more because your actions reflect your priorities. There is a direct line between physical discipline and mental resilience. Every time you push your body through discomfort, you teach your mind that discomfort is not the enemy. You start to understand that fatigue, pain, and resistance are just part of growth. Instead of avoiding them, you meet them with effort. That lesson doesn't stay in the gym or on the trail. It follows you into your work, your relationships, your personal goals. You stop quitting when things get tough because you've practiced pushing through. You've trained your system to handle stress without breaking down. The quality of your thoughts is often tied to the condition of your body. When you eat poorly, sit for too long, and avoid movement, your energy drops and your brain becomes cloudy. You overthink simple decisions. You get irritated easily. You feel stuck without knowing why. But when your body is in motion, your brain works better. You start to see problems with clarity. You generate better ideas. You make decisions faster and with more confidence. You're less reactive, more calm, more focused. Your physical energy becomes mental energy, and that shift changes everything. Your body is where confidence lives, not in how it looks, but in what it can do. When you commit to training, you carry yourself differently. You stand up straighter. You look people in the eye. You feel stronger, and people can feel that strength in you. It's not arrogance. It's a quiet knowing that you've earned your respect through action. You begin to trust your abilities more. You stop shrinking to fit in or playing small to avoid discomfort. You know what you're capable of because you prove it to yourself every day with movement, sweat, and effort. Training also sharpens your routine. It gives your day structure. It forces you to make time for yourself. It reminds you that growth doesn't come from thinking about change. It comes from acting on it. Every workout is a reminder that you are in control of your effort. No one else can do it for you. No one else can move your body, build your habits, or push through your limits. That responsibility builds maturity. It keeps you grounded in what really matters. It keeps you honest. You don't have to wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It fades. It comes and goes depending on your mood or your circumstances. Discipline is what you need. That means training even when you don't feel like it. It means showing up when the weather is bad, when you're tired, when your schedule is full. It means keeping the promise to yourself, no matter what. That promise becomes the foundation of your self-image. Every time you keep it, you reinforce the belief that you are a person who takes action, who finishes what they start, who doesn't make excuses. Physical training also teaches you to set and chase clear goals. Whether it's running a certain distance, lifting a certain weight, or improving your endurance, it gives you a target. It gives your mind something to work toward, something to organize around, and the progress you make, no matter how small, creates proof that you're capable of change. You can see it in the mirror. You can feel it in your energy. That physical proof builds momentum in every other part of your life. You start thinking, if I can improve here, I can improve anywhere. Even on your hardest days, movement helps you reset. When your mind is overwhelmed, when emotions are heavy, when anxiety creeps in, movement clears the fog. You don't have to solve every problem at once. Sometimes you just need to move. You need to take control of one thing, your body, and let that control spread to your thoughts. You breathe deeper, you gain perspective, you come back to yourself. In that space, your clarity returns. Training your body is not about perfection, it's about repetition. It's about doing the work even when it's boring. It's about showing up for yourself because you know that no one else can do it for you. The results come slowly, but the growth happens right away. The second you move with intention, you're already building something. You're already changing the way you live. No one else can feel your pain. No one else can push your limits. You have to do that work yourself. And when you do, you gain a kind of peace that only effort can earn. You stop needing external approval because you have internal pride. You stop chasing shortcuts because you've learned to value the process. You stop doubting yourself because you have evidence of your ability to grow. There are no hacks to a sharper mind. There are no tricks to better energy. There's just the discipline of movement, the routine of effort, and the habit of showing up. When you train your body daily, you don't just change how you look. You change how you think, how you focus, and how you show up to life. That change is not temporary. It becomes who you are, a person who trains, a person who grows, a person who lives with clarity, strength, and purpose. Chapter 5. Build daily habits that move your life forward. Every day is a chance to create the life you want, not with huge changes or once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, but with the quiet power of what you do repeatedly. Most people wait for the perfect moment, the ideal motivation, or some big event to change their lives. But the truth is, change doesn't happen in a single day. It happens slowly, invisibly, and steadily through daily habits. The small things you choose to do every day are shaping your future, whether you're aware of it or not. Every habit you build is either helping you grow or holding you back, and when you start to take control of them, everything in your life begins to shift. You don't need a complicated plan to move your life forward. You need a few simple habits that you stick to with consistency. You need actions that support the person you want to become. These aren't dramatic changes. They're the small, reliable actions that you do even when no one is watching, even when you're tired, even when life feels overwhelming. That's what separates those who keep progressing from those who stay stuck. It's not about talent or luck. It's about what they do daily without fail. Habits are more powerful than motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline based on daily habits keeps you moving forward. You can't rely on how you feel to build a better life. Some days you'll feel strong and focused. Other days you'll feel frustrated or unsure. But if your habits are in place, you keep moving anyway. Your actions no longer depend on your emotions. They're part of who you are. They run on structure, not on mood. That's what creates lasting change. You begin by identifying the habits that serve your growth. These are the actions that align with your goals, values, and long-term vision. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a powerful book every morning. Maybe it's writing your thoughts to clear your mind. Maybe it's practicing gratitude to stay grounded. Maybe it's setting priorities every evening so you wake up with direction. These may sound small, but when repeated daily, they create momentum that compounds over time. You also need to become aware of the habits that are stealing your time and focus. These are often so familiar, you barely notice them. Scrolling aimlessly on your phone, hitting snooze 5 times, eating without thought, reacting instead of responding, wasting hours on distractions that bring no progress. These patterns quietly drain your energy and keep you locked in place. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to replace one harmful habit with a better one. That shift alone can change your entire direction. There is no such thing as neutral behavior. Every habit you keep is either moving you closer to your goals or pulling you away from them. That's why awareness is so important. You need to start paying attention. How do you begin your day? How do you speak to yourself when things go wrong? How do you react to stress? How do you use your time when no one is around? These questions don't need perfect answers. They need honest answers. Because without honesty, you'll keep repeating what's comfortable instead of doing what's right. Building daily habits means taking ownership of your routine. If your day is shaped by other people's needs and constant distractions, you won't have the energy or space to grow. You have to protect your time. That means choosing what matters before the day gets busy. That means setting boundaries. That means creating a routine that supports your energy, your focus, and your priorities. You need a system that works for your life, not a borrowed version of someone else's routine. Your habits should not feel like punishment. They should feel like a commitment to your future. They should remind you that you're taking yourself seriously. When you build habits that reflect self-respect, you carry yourself differently. You walk through your day with a sense of purpose. You stop chasing distractions because you're anchored in what matters. You become more stable, more focused, more aware, and that kind of mindset gives you an edge in every area of life. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Some days will feel easy, others will feel heavy, but if your habit is strong, you'll show up regardless. You don't need to do everything right. You just need to do something right consistently. And over time, those small actions build confidence, they build results, they build trust in yourself. That trust is the real reward, because once you believe that you can rely on yourself, there is nothing you won't try. There is nothing too far or too hard. You've trained yourself to take action, not just think about it. When your habits are in alignment with your goals, your life begins to feel more organized and meaningful. You no longer wander through your day hoping for things to improve. You wake up with direction. You move through your day with intention. You go to sleep knowing that you used your time well. That kind of life doesn't come from luck. It comes from repeated effort. It comes from making the decision every day to do what's necessary instead of what's easy. Sometimes your habits will feel invisible. You won't always notice the changes happening inside you. But if you keep showing up, the results will show up too. You'll begin to think more clearly. You'll make decisions faster. You'll speak with more confidence. You'll handle stress without breaking down. These are the signs of growth. These are the effects of daily discipline. You won't need to talk about your progress. People will feel it in your energy. They'll see it in your posture. They'll hear it in your words. Success in anything is built on habit. Whether you want to improve your health, your finances, your relationships, or your mindset, you need habits that match your goals. Big dreams without daily discipline are just wishes. But when you match your effort to your vision, things start to change. Not all at once, but step by step. That slow growth becomes lasting growth. And that's the kind of growth that no one can take from you. If you want to move your life forward, start by choosing a few key habits and doing them daily without excuses. Make them non-negotiable. Show up for them like your future depends on it, because it does. Your time is limited. Your energy is valuable. Don't waste it on things that keep you stuck. Build habits that support the life you want, and let those habits build the version of you that can live it. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. Every day you show up is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. And when you cast that vote again and again, you eventually become unstoppable. Chapter 6. Write your goals and review them every day. Most people walk through life reacting to whatever comes their way, drifting from one obligation to the next, rarely stopping to ask themselves where they're headed or why they're moving in that direction. They confuse activity with progress, thinking that being busy means they're building something meaningful. But without clear goals written down and reviewed daily, all that effort often leads to exhaustion instead of achievement. Writing your goals is not a ritual for the motivated, it's the compass for anyone who wants to live with direction and discipline. When you write your goals every day, you remind yourself of what matters, you take control of your attention, you cut through the noise of daily distractions. Life will always offer you temptations, detours, and demands that seem urgent but are ultimately meaningless. When you begin your day by rewriting your goals, you're not just listing tasks. You're training your mind to focus on what actually brings progress. You're choosing clarity over confusion. You're putting your future in front of your face every morning so that your actions have purpose behind them. A written goal is more than a dream. It's a decision. You're no longer wishing for something. You're committing to something. The act of writing forces you to define what you want. It demands specificity. Be successful isn't a goal, it's an idea. Earn a specific income, launch a project, read 50 books, master a new skill. Those are real goals. You can measure them, you can see your progress, and because they're written down, they stay alive in your mind rather than fading into the background of your busy life. Goals that aren't written down are easy to forget. They drift away in the face of everyday stress. But goals that are written down get burned into your memory. They become part of your thinking. They influence your choices, and when you review them daily, they start shaping how you respond to setbacks, temptations, and distractions. You stop asking, "What should I do today?" because your goals already told you. You stop following whatever feels urgent and start doing what's truly important. That shift in attention changes your entire path. Clarity doesn't come from thinking more, it comes from writing. When your goals live in your head, they stay vague. When you write them, they become real. You can see them, evaluate them, refine them. You may start with one version of your goal and through writing and reviewing it every day, realize it needs to be adjusted. That's not failure, that's evolution. Writing brings awareness, awareness brings refinement, and refinement leads to action that's focused instead of scattered. Daily review isn't about repeating words, it's about reconnecting to purpose. When you look at your goals each morning, you are reminding yourself why you're putting in the effort. On difficult days, this reminder matters more than anything. When things feel hard, when motivation fades, when doubt creeps in, your written goals are your anchor. They ground you, they remind you of the bigger picture, and because you see them every day, they stay strong even when your emotions don't. People often fail to reach their goals, not because they lack discipline, but because they lose sight of what they were aiming for. The world pulls your focus in 100 directions. If you don't deliberately choose what you're focusing on, something else will. Reviewing your goals daily is a way of choosing. It's how you protect your vision from being drowned out by noise. It's how you stay loyal to your long-term self, instead of being a servant to short-term comfort. This practice doesn't take hours. It doesn't require perfect words or fancy journals. It requires intention. A few minutes each morning spent writing your top goals is enough to shift your mindset. You're not waiting for the day to give you purpose. You're bringing your purpose into the day. That alone makes you operate differently. Your energy becomes targeted. Your decisions become sharper. You start to filter your actions through a higher standard. Does this move me closer to my goal or further away? There's a psychological effect to repetition. When you write something every day, your brain begins to treat it as important. It starts scanning your environment for opportunities related to that goal. It starts solving problems connected to it. What you repeatedly focus on becomes your reality, not because of some magic, but because attention drives behavior. If you see your goal every day, you're far more likely to act on it than if you leave it to chance. Another powerful benefit of daily goal writing is self-accountability. When your goals are in front of you every day, you can't hide from them. You see whether or not you're acting in alignment with them. You can feel when you've drifted. That discomfort is valuable. It pushes you back on track. It reminds you of what you said you wanted. It helps you notice the excuses before they become patterns. And most importantly, it gives you a daily chance to start fresh, to realign, to recommit. Over time, this practice does something even more powerful. It builds belief. Every time you write your goals, you're reinforcing the idea that they matter. You're affirming that you are capable of reaching them. You're creating a mental environment where progress feels natural. And as belief grows, so does action. You stop hesitating. You stop doubting. You start moving. You trust yourself because you've shown up for your vision repeatedly, not once or twice, but every single day. Some people think this level of focus is excessive. They say it's obsessive to write the same goals every morning. But look closely at anyone who has built something remarkable in their life, and you'll see that obsession with clarity is a common trait. They don't casually think about their goals. They live with them. They work with them. They write them, review them, and adjust them relentlessly. That's not overkill. That's alignment. If you want to do something meaningful, you can't afford to be vague. There will be days when writing your goals feels pointless, days when progress is invisible, days when you feel tired of the repetition. That's where the real transformation happens. Discipline in those moments builds character. You don't write goals every day because you always feel inspired. You write them because you're committed. That habit of showing up builds internal strength. It teaches you to lead yourself, regardless of how you feel. And that kind of leadership is what makes goals happen. Success is not about knowing more. It's about doing the few important things consistently. Writing and reviewing your goals daily is one of those few things. It's simple, but it's powerful. It aligns your thoughts. It shapes your behavior. It sharpens your decisions. And over time, it transforms who you are. When your goals live on paper and in your mind every day, they stop being distant hopes and start becoming part of your reality. You don't need a perfect plan to change your life. You need direction. You need clarity. You need discipline. Writing your goals daily gives you all three. It helps you stay connected to what matters, even when the world is trying to pull you off course. It helps you filter your time through your purpose, instead of living on autopilot. And most importantly, it reminds you every single day that your future is being written by your present actions, not someday, but today. Chapter 7. Speak with honesty and act with full courage. Most people hide parts of themselves because they're afraid of how the world will respond. They bite their tongue, hold back their truth, and play small in moments that demand something more. They think silence keeps the peace, but it only creates distance between who they are and who they pretend to be. Living like this might feel safe, but it slowly drains your power. If you want to build a life rooted in strength, clarity, and respect, you must learn to speak with honesty and act with full courage, even when it's uncomfortable. There's a cost to pretending. Every time you choose to stay quiet when something matters to you, you chip away at your self-respect. Every time you avoid conflict just to be liked, you strengthen fear and weaken trust in yourself. It's easy to fall into the habit of pleasing others, adapting your words to avoid friction, and downplaying your values to avoid criticism. But each of those decisions adds up. Over time, you lose track of who you really are. You become an echo of other people's expectations. Honesty is not about being harsh, it's about being real. It's having the courage to tell the truth when it would be easier to say nothing. It's expressing your thoughts clearly, even if your voice shakes. It's standing by your values even when you know they won't be popular. And more than anything, it's about honoring yourself enough to stop hiding. The truth doesn't need to be loud, but it needs to be present. When your words reflect what you believe, people may not always agree with you, but they will know who you are. That's the beginning of real strength. Being honest with others starts with being honest with yourself. You have to know what you believe in. You have to get clear about what matters to you, what you will stand for, and what you will not tolerate. This kind of self-honesty takes work. It means asking hard questions. It means facing the parts of you that feel uncertain, insecure, or afraid. But it's only by doing this inner work that you gain the confidence to speak clearly on the outside. Without inner truth, your words are just noise. Acting with full courage doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you stop letting fear decide how you live. Courage is choosing to move forward in spite of fear. It's showing up when it would be easier to walk away. It's taking action that reflects your principles, even when it would be more convenient to compromise. Courage is not a feeling, it's a decision, and the more often you make that decision, the stronger you become. Confidence doesn't come from talking about what you believe, it comes from living it. Every time you speak with honesty and act with courage, you train yourself to lead. You become someone others can trust, because you aren't shifting with the wind. People don't have to guess where you stand. They know you'll be consistent. You won't flatter them to avoid discomfort. You won't stay silent when something needs to be said. You won't back down just because someone disapproves. That kind of presence changes how people respond to you. You gain respect, not by demanding it, but by earning it through integrity. Living this way doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. You will, but when you're honest, you can admit them. When you're courageous, you can face them. That's how you grow. Dishonesty may protect your ego in the moment, but it prevents growth in the long run. The people who grow the fastest are the ones who stop pretending and start facing life head-on. They take responsibility. They own their actions. They don't hide from hard conversations. They walk straight into discomfort, knowing that's where strength is built. You don't need to convince the world of your worth. You just need to stop betraying yourself. When your words match your values and your actions match your words, you stop living in conflict. You begin to feel aligned. That alignment creates peace. You stop second-guessing yourself because you know you're not hiding anything. You can look in the mirror without flinching. You stop needing external validation because you've already earned your own respect. There will be moments when speaking honestly makes you unpopular. You might lose people. You might get criticized. But what you lose is never as important as what you gain. You gain freedom. You gain peace of mind. You gain clarity. And most importantly, you gain the ability to look back on your life without regret, knowing that you lived according to your own values, not someone else's script. Too many people spend years chasing acceptance while suppressing their truth. They say what others want to hear, they do what others expect, and slowly they forget what they believe in. But time will always reveal the cost of that silence. The real question is not whether you're making people comfortable, but whether you're being true to yourself, because only one of those paths leads to a life of meaning. Courage often looks quiet. It's the person who says no when everyone else says yes. It's the person who admits a mistake before they're caught. It's the person who stands up for someone with no one watching. These moments rarely go viral, but they shape your character, they sharpen your spine, and over time they become your legacy. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't created to mute your thoughts just to avoid conflict. Your voice matters, not because it's always right, but because it's yours. It carries your perspective, your experience, your convictions. And when you speak with honesty, you invite others to do the same. You create a space where truth is possible. That's how relationships deepen. That's how teams grow stronger. That's how families heal. Not through perfection, but through truth spoken with courage. Sometimes honesty means saying what no one else will. Sometimes courage means being the first to admit you're afraid. Sometimes strength means letting go of people who only like the version of you that keeps quiet. But each time you choose truth over approval, you reclaim your power. You show the world that your integrity is not for sale. And the longer you live this way, the more unshakable you become. You cannot lead others if you're lying to yourself. You cannot build trust if your actions don't match your words. And you cannot create anything meaningful from a place of fear. The only foundation strong enough to hold your future is truth. And the only path to real growth is courage. Everything else may look good for a while, but it will eventually collapse. Your words are your power. Use them to express your truth, not to hide it. Your actions are your message to the world. Let them be bold, not borrowed. Speak like someone who respects themselves. Act like someone who knows their values. Live like someone who refuses to be ruled by fear. Not just once, but every single day. That's how you earn your own trust. That's how you build a life worth living. Chapter 8. Surround yourself with people who want growth. Choosing the people around you is one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make. Your social circle influences your mindset, your habits, and ultimately the trajectory of your life. When you surround yourself with people who want growth, you create an environment that naturally pushes you to improve. Growth-minded individuals challenge complacency, inspire action, and hold you accountable to becoming better than you were yesterday. Their presence makes the difficult moments easier and the victories more meaningful. People who want growth do not settle for excuses or comfort zones. They recognize that progress requires effort, consistency, and sometimes discomfort. When you spend time with these individuals, their mindset rubs off on you. You begin to adopt their way of thinking, the relentless pursuit of learning, the willingness to face challenges head-on, and the refusal to let setbacks define you. This kind of energy can transform your daily habits, your attitude toward obstacles, and your overall resilience. It's easy to underestimate how much your closest relationships shape your behavior. Human nature gravitates toward patterns that are familiar and safe, but safe rarely means growth. If the people you interact with regularly avoid change, complain without acting, or discourage ambition, it's likely you will be pulled into the same pattern. Their lack of drive can subtly influence your own motivation until you find yourself stuck in a cycle of stagnation. To grow, it's essential to notice these dynamics and make conscious choices about who you allow into your inner circle. Growth-minded people are not perfect. They struggle, they fail, and they doubt at times just like anyone else. What sets them apart is their commitment to progress and their willingness to support others on that journey. They celebrate effort over results, focus on solutions instead of problems, and ask questions that deepen understanding. Conversations with them feel different. They spark ideas, open doors to new perspectives, and ignite your desire to act. These interactions create momentum and a sense of possibility that is hard to find alone. Choosing growth-oriented people means valuing quality over quantity in your relationships. It's better to have a few genuine connections that challenge and inspire you than many superficial ones that drain your energy. These meaningful relationships demand investment, time, honesty, and vulnerability, but they pay dividends in your personal development. When you open up to people who want growth, you receive honest feedback, encouragement, and sometimes tough love that pushes you to evolve. Accountability is one of the greatest gifts these people offer. They don't just cheer you on, they hold you responsible for your commitments. This is crucial because motivation alone is unreliable. When your own energy falters, having someone who believes in your potential and expects action can keep you on track. They ask the difficult questions that reveal excuses, remind you of your goals, and encourage you to move forward even when progress feels slow. Their presence turns intentions into results. Building a network of growth-driven people also exposes you to diverse experiences and ideas. Everyone's path is unique, and learning from others' journeys accelerates your own. Whether it's through sharing books, discussing challenges, or collaborating on projects, these connections broaden your understanding and skills. They inspire creativity and problem-solving by showing you possibilities beyond your current mindset. This collective wisdom becomes a resource you can tap into when facing your own obstacles. Sometimes surrounding yourself with growth-focused individuals means letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. This is not easy because emotional ties can be strong, but it's necessary. Holding on to people who resist change or discourage your ambitions keeps you anchored to old patterns. It's a difficult but powerful act of self-respect to distance yourself from those who pull you backward. This decision creates space for new connections that align with your evolving goals and values. Creating an environment that fosters growth requires intentionality. Seek out communities, groups, or even online spaces where people gather to learn and improve. Attend workshops, join clubs, or connect with mentors who embody the mindset you want to develop. Proactively putting yourself in situations that encourage growth makes it easier to find like-minded individuals. Over time, you build a support system that continuously fuels your progress and resilience. Growth is not a solo endeavor. Human beings are wired for connection, and the right people make the journey sustainable and joyful. They remind you that setbacks are temporary, challenges are opportunities, and persistence is essential. Their belief in your potential often becomes a mirror reflecting your own strengths and capabilities. This reflection is a powerful motivator that can carry you through moments of doubt and fear. Being around people who want growth also shifts your perspective on failure. Instead of seeing it as a permanent defeat, you start to view failure as feedback and a necessary step in learning. This mindset change is contagious. When your circle embraces mistakes as part of the process, you feel safer taking risks. This freedom to experiment and learn without fear accelerates your development in every area of life. To cultivate these relationships, it's essential to give as much as you receive. Growth-minded people value reciprocity, sharing knowledge, offering support, and celebrating each other's successes. When you contribute to their journeys, you deepen trust and build bonds that last. This mutual investment creates a positive cycle where everyone benefits and grows stronger together. Surrounding yourself with people who want growth is an ongoing practice, not a one-time event. Your needs and goals will evolve, and so will the people you choose to be around. Stay open to reassessing your relationships and making adjustments that support your continued development. This flexibility ensures that your environment remains aligned with the person you are becoming. The power of your social environment cannot be overstated. It influences your habits, mindset, and opportunities more than any single self-help tactic or motivational speech. By choosing growth-driven people, you set yourself up for consistent improvement and resilience. This network becomes your foundation for facing life's challenges and reaching your highest potential. Ultimately, the decision to surround yourself with people who want growth is a commitment to your future self. It's a recognition that your environment shapes your destiny. When you make this choice, you build a life where growth is the norm, not the exception. You become part of a community that pushes you forward and celebrates who you are becoming. This is not just about success, it's about creating a life filled with meaning, purpose, and continuous evolution. Chapter 9. Reflect weekly and track your real progress. Taking time each week to reflect and honestly track your progress is one of the most powerful practices you can develop on the path to meaningful change. Reflection provides clarity by allowing you to pause, examine your actions, and understand what is truly moving you forward. Without this habit, days blend into one another, and progress often goes unnoticed. Tracking your real progress creates an honest record of where you are and where you need to adjust. It turns vague intentions into measurable achievements, making growth visible and motivating you to keep going. Reflection is not about judgment or self-criticism, it's about observation and learning. When you dedicate time to look back on your week, you gain perspective on what worked well and what didn't. This insight helps you avoid repeating mistakes and reinforces behaviors that support your goals. You start to notice patterns in your actions, thoughts, and emotions that either serve or hinder your growth. This awareness is the foundation of wise decision-making and deeper self-understanding. Tracking your progress means committing to consistent review and honest documentation. This could be as simple as journaling a few sentences each day or week, or using an app or planner to note your achievements and setbacks. The key is consistency and honesty. Writing down your experiences forces you to confront reality instead of allowing distractions or excuses to blur the truth. It also provides motivation by showing how far you have come, which can be especially important during tough times. Reflection allows you to connect with your deeper why. When you take stock of your progress, you remind yourself of your purpose and the reasons behind your efforts. This connection rekindles motivation and sharpens focus. It becomes clear which goals align with your values and which might need re-evaluation. Sometimes what seemed important at the start of the journey no longer fits your evolving vision. Weekly reflection creates space for these necessary course corrections without losing momentum. An effective reflection practice includes asking specific questions. What did I accomplish this week? Where did I struggle? What lessons did I learn? How did my actions align with my goals? What emotions surfaced during challenges or successes? These questions help you move beyond surface-level thinking into meaningful insight. They promote accountability without harshness, encouraging you to take responsibility for your choices and their outcomes. Tracking progress also highlights the small wins often overlooked in the pursuit of big goals. Celebrating these moments builds confidence and strengthens your commitment. Each step forward is proof that change is possible. Recognizing growth in small increments reduces overwhelm and fosters patience. It reminds you that transformation is a process, not a single event. When you reflect and track progress weekly, you build resilience. Setbacks become opportunities to learn rather than reasons to quit. You gain tools to adjust your strategies and maintain momentum. This habit transforms challenges into valuable feedback and empowers you to take control of your journey. Resilience grows from repeated cycles of reflection, adjustment, and action. Creating a routine for reflection and tracking anchors your self-improvement efforts in reality. Choose a regular time and quiet space to engage in this practice. Whether it's Sunday evening or a midday pause, consistency makes it a natural part of your rhythm. Over time, this ritual becomes a source of strength and clarity that supports ongoing growth. Journaling is one of the most effective methods for reflection. Writing engages both your mind and emotions, helping to clarify thoughts and feelings. It also creates a tangible record of your journey that you can revisit to see your evolution. Use prompts or free writing to explore your week in depth. Include not just actions but also insights, doubts, and inspirations. This depth creates a rich foundation for continued progress. In addition to journaling, visual tools can help track progress. Charts, checklists, or habit trackers provide immediate visual feedback. They make accomplishments visible and motivate continued effort. Seeing a streak of completed tasks or a growing graph of achievements strengthens your belief in your capacity to change. Visual tracking complements reflective writing by adding structure and clarity. Weekly reflection and tracking also improve decision-making. When you are aware of your true progress, you can make better choices about where to invest your time and energy. It prevents you from wandering aimlessly or chasing distractions. This clarity ensures that your actions consistently align with your long-term vision. It cultivates a mindset focused on effectiveness rather than busyness. Sharing your reflections and progress with a trusted person can enhance accountability. Discussing your journey openly invites support, encouragement, and constructive feedback. It reduces isolation and strengthens commitment. When someone else knows your goals and follows your progress, you feel more motivated to maintain your efforts and overcome obstacles. Reflection is a form of self-respect. It honors your commitment to growth by creating space for honest evaluation and learning. This respect fuels your motivation and confidence. It shifts your relationship with yourself from one of judgment or frustration to one of curiosity and kindness. This shift is essential for sustainable change and personal peace. In the absence of reflection and tracking, it's easy to lose sight of progress and slip into old habits. The noise of daily life can drown out your intentions. Weekly reflection cuts through this noise, grounding you in your purpose and achievements. It provides a checkpoint that keeps you aligned with your goals and aware of your growth. This practice also helps you manage expectations and avoid burnout. By reviewing your efforts honestly, you can recognize when you need rest or adjustments. It prevents pushing too hard in one area at the expense of overall well-being. Reflection balances ambition with self-care, ensuring sustainable growth. Reflection and tracking create a feedback loop that strengthens every area of your life. As you become more aware of your patterns, you improve your time management, emotional regulation, and problem-solving skills. You develop the discipline to stay consistent and the wisdom to adapt when necessary. This loop makes growth inevitable rather than accidental. Ultimately, weekly reflection and tracking empower you to take ownership of your journey. You become the author of your story rather than a passenger. This sense of control fuels motivation, resilience, and confidence. It transforms vague hopes into clear progress and brings your goals within reach. Commit to this practice today. Set aside time to honestly review your week, celebrate your wins, learn from your setbacks, and adjust your course. Write down your insights and track your progress visually if possible. Use this time to reconnect with your why and renew your commitment. The more you practice, the stronger your momentum becomes. This habit is a cornerstone of lasting change. It turns fleeting motivation into sustainable action. It bridges the gap between intention and results. Reflecting and tracking weekly transforms your journey from guesswork to mastery, creating a life defined by intentional growth and real progress. Chapter 10. Stay consistent when motivation disappears and doubt rises. There will be moments when the spark that once ignited your journey dims, when motivation fades and doubt creeps in like an unwelcome shadow. These times test the strength of your commitment and the resilience of your spirit. The difference between those who reach their goals and those who falter lies not in never losing motivation, but in mastering the ability to stay consistent regardless of how they feel. True progress depends on action taken, even when enthusiasm is absent and uncertainty looms. Consistency is a quiet power. It does not demand loud excitement or grand gestures. Instead, it calls for steady, deliberate steps repeated day after day. When motivation disappears, consistency becomes the foundation holding everything together. It's the habit of showing up, even when the energy is low and the path feels unclear. This kind of discipline is what separates fleeting effort from lasting transformation. Doubt is natural. It emerges when the outcome is uncertain or the challenge feels too great. It can whisper discouragement or roar with self-criticism, but doubt is only as powerful as the attention we give it. Rather than letting it paralyze you, recognize doubt as a sign that you are pushing beyond comfort, entering the zone where growth happens. Instead of retreating, use doubt to sharpen your focus and strengthen your resolve. When motivation fades, it is crucial to return to your reasons for beginning the journey. Reconnect with the vision that fueled your first steps, the life you want to build, the values you aim to live by, the legacy you wish to create. These core truths serve as an anchor in turbulent times, reminding you that the effort is meaningful even when progress seems slow or invisible. One effective strategy is to break down your goals into the smallest possible actions. When enthusiasm is lacking, the thought of tackling big tasks can feel overwhelming. Instead, focus on what you can do right now. Write one sentence, take one breath, put on your shoes. These tiny steps are manageable and reduce resistance. Over time, they accumulate into momentum that revives motivation naturally. Building a routine that does not rely on feeling motivated helps cement consistency. Establish rituals and habits that become automatic. When your actions become ingrained, you no longer need to rely on willpower alone. This removes a heavy burden from your mind and creates a reliable structure for progress. The hardest part is often simply starting, but once momentum builds, your body and mind will follow. Self-talk plays a critical role when motivation is absent. Replace negative or doubting thoughts with compassionate, fact-based statements. Remind yourself that consistency is more important than perfection and that progress is not always linear. Affirmations that emphasize effort and resilience reinforce your ability to keep going despite setbacks. Environmental design can also support consistency. Arrange your space and schedule to reduce friction and distractions. Place tools and resources in easy reach. Remove temptations that derail your focus. When the environment aligns with your goals, it becomes easier to act without hesitation or excuses. Recognize that rest and self-care are not signs of weakness, but essential parts of sustained effort. When energy dips, honor your need for recovery without guilt. This balance prevents burnout and allows you to return to your work refreshed. Consistency includes listening to your body and mind, adjusting intensity when needed, and trusting the process. Accountability adds another layer of support. Sharing your goals and progress with a trusted friend, mentor, or group creates external motivation to stay consistent. Knowing someone else is watching encourages follow-through and offers encouragement when doubt arises. Accountability partners provide perspective and celebrate victories that might otherwise go unnoticed. Tracking your actions daily offers tangible proof of consistency. Even when motivation wanes, seeing a record of your commitment reminds you of your discipline and progress. This visual feedback counters doubt by highlighting what you have accomplished, no matter how small. It reinforces a positive cycle of action and belief. Failures and setbacks are inevitable, but do not signal the end of the journey. Instead of letting them derail your efforts, analyze what went wrong with curiosity and honesty. Identify lessons to apply going forward. This approach transforms obstacles into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Patience is essential when motivation is missing. Results rarely come overnight. Progress unfolds through repeated effort, often in ways that are not immediately visible. Accepting this reality helps you resist the temptation to quit when immediate gratification is absent. Trust that every consistent action plants a seed for future growth. Discipline cultivates freedom. It might sound paradoxical, but committing to consistent action frees you from the chaos of fluctuating emotions. You no longer wait for the right mood or perfect circumstances. Instead, you create your own momentum and shape your reality through deliberate choice. This mastery over impulse builds confidence and self-respect. Sometimes motivation disappears because the original goal no longer resonates. Regularly revisit your objectives and values. If needed, adjust your goals to align with your current self. This flexibility prevents stagnation and keeps your efforts authentic and energizing. Remember that consistency is not about rigid perfection, but about persistence. Missed days or moments of doubt do not erase your progress. What matters is returning to your path with renewed intention. Each recommitment strengthens your resolve and deepens your self-trust. In the toughest moments, remind yourself why this journey matters. Reflect on the future version of yourself who will benefit from your perseverance today. Visualize the sense of accomplishment, pride and freedom that consistency will bring. Let these images fuel your determination when motivation is out of reach. Cultivate gratitude for the opportunity to grow through challenge. Adversity refines character and reveals strength. Embracing the struggle as part of the process transforms frustration into purpose. This mindset nurtures resilience and keeps you moving forward even when the road is difficult. In essence, staying consistent when motivation disappears requires a shift from relying on feelings to relying on commitment. It calls for practical strategies that reduce barriers, strengthen habits, and maintain focus on your deeper why. It demands patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to face doubt without surrender. This journey is not a sprint but a marathon. The real victory lies in enduring when the initial excitement fades, when doubts rise, and when progress feels slow. By choosing consistency in those moments, you build an unshakable foundation for lasting change. The power to transform your life resides in your ability to keep moving forward, one deliberate step at a time, regardless of how you feel.